Hello everyone, my name is Evgeny and you're back on the ZHENATAN channel. I'm continuing to share my experience with making oak barrels. By the way, if you're interested in how to make an oak barrel from start to finish, what templates, cutters, machines and tools to use, check out the channel, subscribe if you haven't already, and watch. In today's video, I'll tell and show you what material I use to make hoops for my oak barrels. Friends, what are the hoops for an oak barrel made of? You can make them from stainless steel strips, from galvanized strips, or from regular black metal. It's up to you to decide what kind of hoops and what material you need. If you're using the barrel for aging and it will be kept constantly in a damp wine cellar, I recommend using regular hoops made from black metal or galvanized steel. But I let you in on a secret: galvanized steel is actually very hard to find. Well, it's not so much that it's hard to find, but rather that it's usually offered only in large quantities. So, do you want to buy a kilometer of galvanized strip, 30 millimeters wide and 1.5 millimeters thick? No problem, a whole kilometer. But what are you supposed to do with the rest of it? To make a hoop for our oak barrel, for example, like this 30-liter barrel, we first need to measure the circumference at the spot where we'll be installing the hoop. For this, I use a tailor's measuring tape like this one. With it, it's very convenient to measure the circumference of our barrel. In this case, the circumference is 108 centimeters and 6 millimeters. After we've measured the circumference of our barrel, we need to add twice the width of our strip, the one we'll use to make the hoop to the measured value. In this case, I am using a stainless steel strip that is 1.5 millimeters thick and 30 millimeters wide. For smaller barrels, the hoop width and thickness will be different. All these dimensions are specified in the same GOST 8777 from 1980, which I keep referring to. This is an old Soviet GOST standard called filling and dry storage barrels. Just search for this GOST online and you get plenty of results. Find the necessary pages where the geometric dimensions of the barrel, the size and thickness of the staves, and the dimensions of the hoops are specified. Print them out and use them. Here is the type of strip I use for the hoops on my barrels. This is a strip of stainless material, 30 millimeters wide and 1.5 millimeters thick. It is sold in coils like this. You order the required length online or the weight, since they are mostly sold by weight, and use it. We've already measured the circumference for our strip, so I measure out the length I need, in this case 108.6. We make a mark. Here is our mark at 108.6, and I added 6 centimeters, double the width of our strip. And here is where we will make the cut. Why do we add 6 centimeters? This is the strip that will overlap, and here we will install 2 rivets that will fasten our hoop. I have cut a strip to the required length. On one end I cut these kinds of bevels. Now we need to make 2 holes for our rivets. How do we determine where to punch the hole? We take a caliper. We know the width of our strip is 30 millimeters. Divide 30 in half and we get 15. We measure 15 millimeters from the edge of our workpiece and draw a line. Then measure 15 millimeters from the other edge and draw another line. That's it. Our first hole is marked. Now, add 30 millimeters to this point. We get 45. Step back 45 from the edge and draw a line in the same way. And from the end of the strip, again draw a line at 15 millimeters. What do we end up with as a result? We end up with our holes being equidistant from all four sides of our strip. The strip is 30 millimeters, half of that is 15. So it's 15 millimeters from the center, 15 millimeters from this edge, from this one, and from this one. And it's the same with this hole. After I've marked our points, I use a center punch to make marks for drilling. And at these points we will now make two holes for our rivets. We drill two holes in our strip, each with a diameter of 5 millimeters. Once we have thoroughly and carefully prepared our strip, we then proceed to gently pre-bend it along our barrel. Well, of course, ideally you should use special rollers that shape our hoop into a perfect circle. But I use this method. Friends, after we've bent our hoop, we then carefully and precisely mark the corresponding holes on our strip, making sure each one is in the correct position. We make marks with a center punch. And we drill the corresponding holes. To join our hoops, I use these metal rivets, 5 millimeters in diameter and 10 millimeters long. At first I used rivets that I made myself from ordinary nails. I would cut them to the required length with an angle grinder, finding nails with a diameter of 4 or 5 millimeters. They can be tempered in a fire to make them more malleable and then used. We align the holes in our hoop and insert the rivet, just like that. And now we need to form a nice head on the anvil. Using this kind of exclusive anvil specifically, a piece of round bar clamped in a vise. Since I still can't find a proper blacksmith's anvil anywhere, I pin the rivet to about this state. To form a nice head on our rivet, I use this kind of indentation pieces of rail. On this side it's deeper, on this side it's shallower. We stamp our rivet opposite the indentation and we pin it. As a result, we get a head like this on our rivet. We rivet the second rivet in the same way. After joining our hoop, we end up with a little step like this in the joint. We should preferably remove it. To get rid of this step, we place our hoop on a rail or an anvil and pin it right here, like this. Our metallized hoop. As a result, our step has been completely removed. And in this spot we won't have any scoring on our barrel. Friends, after we joined our hoop, it has a rectangular shape, but we need to turn it into a trapezoid, since our barrel has steep sides. What do we need to do for this? We need to pin one side of our hoop, or we can use the same rollers again. I don't have them. I usually pin it with a hammer on an anvil. For iron hoops, I use a regular hammer. For stainless steel ones, I use this kind of aluminum sledgehammer, and with its help, I pin one side, giving our hoop a trapezoidal shape. I do all the pinning on the same exclusive anvil. We take the sledgehammer and slowly start the process. So I have made this kind of hoop and pinned it. Now we need to remove our working hoop and put on the finishing one. We knock off the working hoop . After we've removed our working hoop, we need to clean up these parts where there is rust or some stains left by our working hoops a bit with sandpaper. Before fitting the finishing hoop, I recommend rubbing the seating area with regular chalk to improve the adhesion between the metal hoop and the wooden barrel. That's it. And now, at this point, we can finally fit our brand new hoop. Our hoop is in place. So friends, I made the other 3 hoops, put them on the barrel, and as a result we have this beauty weighing 35 kilos. If you enjoyed the video on how to make hoops, give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. See you next time!